I'm an ex-Muslim.
You're an ex-Muslim.
Show me where the prophet is in the Bible. If you can
And
show me, I'll revert to Islam right now.
can you? I just want to confirm that you were an ex-Muslim. Can you recite for me Surah Al-Fatiha?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Hold on. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Maliki yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdina siratal.
Before we get started, I just want to mention that this video is sponsored by the Kalam app, an app that allows you to learn Quranic Arabic so you could finally understand what you're reciting in prayer, but there'll be more on that later. Enjoy the rest of the video. Sali?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Are you a Christian?
Yeah, I am, man. Well,
Can you turn on your camera, brother?
I don't want to because like I'm an ex-Muslim.
You're an ex-Muslim. Wow,
Yeah.
you're scared for your life in America?
I'm not scared for my life. I just don't want like people to know. Like my family's chill. Like I just don't want like some people to know yet. Like I've actually been on God Logic stream. Like he's the one who made me.
He's the one who
leave
made you leave Islam? Wow, man.
Yeah, man. My
What's
first name
the
is
best argument that convinced you of worshiping a man God and eating his flesh on Sunday?
well, I've actually not taken the Eucharist yet. Like I'm still new, but what
No,
convinced
you're gonna take the Eucharist. So how did Mr. God Logic convince you to worship a man?
I mean, it was a slow process, man. Like he just pointed out too many issues with Islam,
Like what?
like textual like inconsistencies, man.
All right, let's see it. What textual inconsistencies?
Quran 9:30.
Yeah,
Like
what
it
about
says
Quran 9:30?
says that Ezra is the son of God. And the Jews don't say
It
that.
doesn't say Ezra. It says Uzair. Uzair is Rabbi Eliezer, and the Jews do say he's the son of God. It says it in the Babylonian.
I think it's quoted once in the Talmud.
So you're not listening. So
sorry.
Uzair is not Ezra. Okay, Uzair is Rabbi Eliezer ben Hyrcanus, who is said to be God's special son in the Babylonian Talmud and in the Jerusalem Talmud, which the 7th century Talmudic Arabian Jews would have been very familiar with.
All right, man. There were other ones too. Actually, what really did it for me was the similarities between the prophet and Joseph Smith. Like the revelation of the prophet
which similarities?
Like the prophet claimed that an angel came to him and gave him revelations that were like, if you look at Christianity, like one of the things that convinced me.
Just 1 second, keep going. An angel
came to him and gave him
Paul
revelations.
Paul claimed an angel came to him and gave him revelations.
Yeah, that's true as well. But like I actually used that argument. The difference with Paul was that Paul actually met the disciples of Jesus and they confirmed him.
No, they didn't. They didn't confirm him.
Yeah, Peter confirmed him.
No, Peter didn't confirm him. I could show you if you want.
Yeah, show me. Show me.
Yeah. So have you read Galatians chapter 2, where Peter and Paul get in a problem and he calls Peter a hypocrite, and he says that and he says that James has a false gospel?
Yeah, I know that he had like a very strong like theological problem with James and Peter, but they did reconcile in the end.
Where do they reconcile in the end?
Hold on, just give me a second.
All right, let's see it. Man, you got lied to, brother. They brainwashed you, brother. You don't.
Man, trust me, it's not an easy thing.
I know it's not. You got brainwashed.
I needed a lot of evidence. Like I didn't do this.
No, brother. You didn't need a lot of evidence because there is no evidence for Christianity. You got brainwashed. You got brainwashed, man. I shouldn't even be laughing at you because it's so sad.
Yeah, man. Go to Second Peter 3:15. Like Peter refers to.
Second Peter is not written by Peter, dude. Second Peter is a forgery. Eusebius says Second Peter is a forgery, brother.
By who wrote it?
We don't know. It's anonymous. He's writing in
Like
the name of Peter.
most of the gospels are anonymous. Like Christians go with church tradition.
And so this is not just anonymous. This is pseudegraphical. What's the name? It's hard for me to say. But basically, when you write in the name of someone while you're not that someone, pseudepigraphal or something like that. Yeah, that's so the author introduces himself as Peter, but obviously it's not Peter. There's no reason to think it's Peter.
Well, look, I'd have to do more research on that about Peter
Brother,
not
no, you
writing
don't.
Second
No, brother,
Peter.
you got brainwashed. Let me show
Bro,
you now.
I'm not brainwashed, right?
Just
Let me just like,
just 1 second.
Libiano, can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question?
No, just wait. I'm gonna show you where Peter and the Paul and the apostles disagree. They don't have the same gospel. Go to Acts chapter 15.
All right, 15 what?
Actually, I'll pull it up so everybody can learn. So this is what I call the Paulinian dilemma. Okay, watch and learn, boy. Watch and learn, so logic doesn't lie to you anymore. You're gonna come back to Islam today.
He didn't lie to me. He didn't even lie to me once.
He lied to you, brother. He
the
lied because he just told you that the apostles confirmed Paul. That's the biggest lie on earth.
He didn't tell me that. I looked into that myself.
All right,
and like
so
this isn't even
we'll
about.
One second. So we'll get to where he lies to you. So here, Acts 15. Let's go right here. Okay. Certain people came from Judea to Antioch and were teaching the believers, unless you are circumcised according to the custom taught by Moses, you cannot be saved. Got it?
Yeah.
So some people are teaching you have to become Jews to be saved, right? Verse 2.
Yeah.
This brought Paul and Barnabas into sharp dispute and debate with them. So Paul and Barnabas were appointed along with some other believers to go up to Jerusalem to see the apostles and elders about this question. All right, so now they go to Jerusalem. When they came to Jerusalem, they were welcomed by the church and the apostles and elders, to whom they reported everything God had done through them. Then some of the believers who belonged to the party of the Pharisees stood up and said, the Gentiles must be circumcised and required to keep the law of Moses. The apostles and elders met to consider this question. After much discussion, Peter got up and addressed them. Brothers, you know that some time ago God made a choice among you that the Gentiles might hear from my lips the message of the gospel and believe. God, who knows the heart, showed that he accepted them by giving the Holy Spirit to them, just as he did to us. He did not discriminate between us and them, for he purified their hearts by faith. Now then, why do you try to test God by putting on the necks of Gentiles a yoke that neither we nor our ancestors have been able to bear? No, we believe it is through the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ we are saved, just as they are. The whole assembly became silent, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, so James gives his judgment. It is my judgment, therefore, that we should not make it difficult for Gentiles who are turning to God. Instead, we should write to them, calling them to abstain from food polluted by idols, from sexual immorality, from the meat from meat of strangled animals, and from blood. Got it? So what do the Gentiles have to stay away from according to the apostles?
Look, I already know that Paul allows food given to idols. I know all this.
Do the apostles allow it?
They don't. James and Peter don't allow it.
Okay, so they contradict. So Paul contradicts the first ecumenical council of the church, right?
He does.
So Paul goes against the apostles, right?
He does, yeah.
And Paul also goes against himself because he's supposedly present in this council, right?
Yeah. I mean, like he must have. The thing is, like Christians believe that
wow, brother.
Paul was filled with the Holy. Look,
he was filled with the Holy Ghost, but he was also filled with food polluted by idols. Is that right?
Yo, come on, man.
Come on, what?
Libiano, hold up. Listen, my thing is that look, I'm a new Christian, right? But like even if I give you everything and I grant what you're saying about Paul, because like I don't know some things, it still wouldn't make
you told me it's different because brother, you told me it's different with Paul Paul is not like Joseph Smith and the Prophet Muhammad, because Paul confirmed the apostles. I just showed you where Paul doesn't. Paul has a different gospel. Paul says you don't need to follow any rules. That is the gospel of Jesus. You're saved by faith, by grace through faith. The apostles say no. Jews have to follow the Torah to be saved. Gentiles have to follow the parts of Leviticus 17 and 18 to be saved. So do they have a different gospel?
Well, I'd have to read more of this. They have different views on this. Yeah, definitely.
All right. So they have a different gospel. All right. So then continue about Muhammad salam and Joseph Smith being the same.
Well, yeah, my view on them is that like even like removing that, you have Joseph Smith also engaging in similar acts like like convenient revelations. You understand what I'm
All
saying?
right. Like what?
Like Joseph Smith, he gets revelations allowing him to do polygamy, and the same with the prophet. The prophet gets convenient revelations allowing him to have 9 wives when the
Mm.
Quran says you can only have 4. Like no prophet in the Bible behaves like this. Like I'm not saying the issue is not really with polygamy.
I got you. Does David receive convenient revelation?
David, no.
Oh, really? Did David commit adultery?
David was punished for adultery.
He was punished? What was his punishment?
So when he killed, I think it was Bathsheba's husband, God made his son die. His son was killed.
Yeah, but that wasn't a punishment for adultery.
It was a punishment for adultery.
No, show me where it says it's a punishment for adultery.
Hold on.
And by the way, even if that was the case, what's the punishment for adultery in the Torah?
Well, the punishment for adultery is, I think it's death.
Stoned to death,
right? Stoning to death. But David is a special person. I think, I don't know.
Oh, convenient revelation, right?
No, but this is different because, like, the prophet is saying, God is giving me.
Different.
No. Because, like, he's saying that God is giving him permission to do extra things. Like,
and David is saying, God forgave my sin. I don't need to be stoned.
Well, hold on. Yeah, God said his child was killed rather than him, like as a worse punishment. This is first.
It's not.
Samuel,
where does it say it's a punishment?
12.
I know it says his son will be killed, but where does it say it's a punishment for what he did?
Hold on. 2 Samuel 12. Yeah, so David was, this is the 2 Samuel 12:13. David was afraid he was going to die. And he goes to Nathan, and Nathan says, "The Lord has taken away your sin. You are not going to die." But
he forgave him, right?
No, he said, "But because by doing this you've shown utter contempt for the Lord, the son born to you will die."
I know, but where does it say it's a punishment for what he did?
He said, "Because of this, your son will die." That's
I know, and that's true. Because of what he did, his son will die. But where does it say it's a punishment?
You don't think that's a punishment?
No, his son. So it's funny because it's the opposite. God took his son so the people don't say that David was given a son or conceived a son from an illegitimate marriage, that he was a bastard child. So to save David from the embarrassment, from the civil embarrassment in his kingdom, he takes away the child by giving him a sickness, and he takes him away. So he doesn't punish David.
No, but like
even just one
David
second.
and Bathsheba had other kids.
I know they had other kids, but that's after he married her and he made her his wife. Okay, now so Solomon is the son of Bathsheba, but Solomon is a legitimate child. He's not a bastard child. Okay.
No, but like David had many concubines.
I know he had many concubines, which, by the way, God says, "I gave you your wives and concubines."
Yeah, anyway, I don't have issue with polygamy.
Just one second. The point is, David is not stoned, is he?
No.
All right. Why is he not stoned? With Ramadan being just around the corner, many of us want to complete the Quran in 30 days. But how many of us know how to recite the Quran properly or even understand its true meaning? Well, that's exactly where the Kalam app comes into play. The Kalam app is an Arabic learning tool that teaches you how to pronounce the Arabic of the Quran and finally understand its true meaning. So whether you want to practice your tajweed or whether you finally want to connect with the words of the revealed Quran in its original Arabic tongue, Kalam is the perfect tool for you. Imagine reading the Quran this Ramadan and finally being able to understand the Quran in its pure Arabic original language without relying on a translation. Imagine standing up in prayer in Taraweeh and finally having that khushu' because you could understand the words that are being recited. There's no better time to start. Download Kalam today and experience the Quran this Ramadan like you've never experienced before. You'll find the link in the description below.
God has favor with him. God
Yes,
has favor.
so it's convenient revelation. Also, Moses in the book of Numbers goes to God and he says, I'm so tired, God. Too much work. They're too annoying. So God revelation tells Moses, you are my beloved servant. It's okay. You could go ahead and appoint 70 elders to do your job for you. They will do it. It's okay. You don't have to worry. Is that convenient revelation?
I guess it's kind of a convenient revelation, but
Okay, beautiful. Now, what about the
yeah.
prophet? What about the Prophet Muhammad's inconvenient revelation, where Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, quote unquote, exposes the prophet, and He says that I will reveal what you were hiding in your heart. Did the prophet reveal and expose himself? Is that an
Yes, he did.
inconvenient revelation?
It is definitely.
Okay,
But
so what? So
even Joseph Smith had inconvenient revelations. He had revelations.
Okay. So then, why would the prophet, if he's making stuff up to benefit himself, why would he expose himself?
I don't know. I don't know. Why?
So if convenient revelation proves he's a false prophet, then inconvenient revelation proves he's a true prophet, right?
No, because Joseph Smith, who we both agree is a false prophet, had inconvenient revelation. Let me ask you a question.
Like what?
He exposed himself for like sleeping with underage kids to his community.
Show me where Joseph Smith said I slept with underage girls.
Hold on, I think it's like Joseph Smith. I think it's that Mormon book exposing his sins.
No, where Joseph Smith himself says it about himself.
Yeah. He exposed his secret polygamy, or like he exposed his secret polygamy.
Let's see it.
In 44.
Let's see it. Where's the verse?
To be fair, like it's not a verse. It's just a historical fact. But it was he made himself like it's kind of the reason he went back on polygamy. To be honest, because they exposed that he had been having.
So it's not inconvenient. So
I mean,
anyway, you haven't. Okay, so you see how you're. So I've showed you where in the Bible this idea of convenient revelation applies to prophets, right? And I've showed you that the Prophet Muhammad actually doesn't have any convenient revelations, because all of the revelations have a greater wisdom for the Muslim community and for the benefit of Islam. And as a matter of fact, he has inconvenient revelation. For example, why is the Prophet not allowed to receive charity? Why is the Prophet obligated to pray the long night prayer? Why is the Prophet not allowed to leave off inheritance? Why does the Prophet criticize himself in a few verses in the Quran where it says "Abasa wa tawalla and ja'ahu al-a'ma"?
All right, man. All right, like you're giving me good points, man. But look, I still have one more question for you regarding this topic, right? Like all the things you said make sense in the biblical parallel, but there's no parallel to something like the Satanic verses in the Bible.
Okay.
There's nothing like that. Like God giving revelation to.
1 second. What are the Satanic verses?
Satanic verses are supposed like in the earliest Islamic sources that the Prophet received revelation telling the pagans that the goddesses Al-At, Al-Uzza, Manat
Mm,
can carry your prayers to Allah.
yeah. So besides this, not having a single authentic report, okay,
Why is it not authentic?
because there's no authentic chain.
Yet, like the Islam, no one takes it seriously outside Islam. We look at historically, we look at what is earliest, not the Islamic
No,
quote unquote hadith.
that's not how it works. So just because a tradition is early, it doesn't mean that it's authentic. Okay, that's not how source criticism works.
It
That's
doesn't mean
number
it's
one.
authentic, but like
Exactly.
if
Number two, have you even read the most popular literature scholarship on this issue?
by who?
So the book is called Before Orthodoxy: The Satanic Verses in Early Islam by an Orientalist called Shahab Ahmed. Okay? He says that so he goes and he does a historical analysis on these reports, and he shows that there's not a single authentic narration to these reports. And he says that the argument from embarrassment, or the criteria of embarrassment, doesn't work because the criteria of embarrassment assumes that the early Muslims were embarrassed to hold and report and transmit such a narration, which we don't have any evidence of that the early
No,
Muslims were
but
embarrassed to
it's
narrate
the,
and transmit such a narration. So that's
in
point
my
number one.
opinion,
1 second.
wait,
That's
Luciano, could I? All right.
Go ahead.
I'm just saying, like my thing would be, the earliest Muslims were not embarrassed by it. It's the later
Exactly.
Muslims who, yeah,
Right.
it's the later Muslims. It starts disappearing from the sources.
I agree. I agree
It's
with
like,
you. I agree
yeah,
with you.
even yo,
Just
let me
you
can
just
I give you
you
like
just wait. You just made my point for me. The early Muslims were not embarrassed by this story. Only the later Muslims were, which means that you can't use the criteria of embarrassment to prove the authenticity, which is the only criterion that you could use to prove its authenticity, because there's no authentic
it's
report.
no, it's the other criteria you could use is that it's in earlier sources. It's the same way that like
I agree.
critical scholars.
I agree. It's in our earliest sources.
No,
I
like
never said it's not.
Libiano, think about it this way, right? Like when like guys like Bart Ehrman are looking into the Gospels, they look at theological development like low and high Christology, right? So look at something like the baptism of Jesus by John the Baptist.
Yeah.
Like in Mark, it's just mentioned, like, and then in Matthew and Luke, they kind of like try and explain it away. It's not even in John, right? That's what happens. So like scholars have looked at this and said most likely Jesus was baptized by John the Baptist because like it's kind of like something they keep finding to explain
Nope.
away.
Scholars don't say that because it's developed, that means that there is an authentic core. Scholars say Jesus was baptized because early Christians would be embarrassed to transmit it. That's why scholars would say that, because it would be embarrassing for a Christian who believes Jesus is the greatest human being, a sinless man, to be baptized by somebody lesser than him for the forgiveness of sins. So that's why they say if this is transmitted, then it must be original, because no Christian would ever make that up. That's
Yeah,
why they say that.
yeah, I get what you're saying, but I'm also saying that because the earliest Muslims weren't embarrassed by it, they'd have no reason to make up something like this.
They do.
And you can,
Oh my God, that's the point. If they're not embarrassed, then they do have a point to make it up. They
why
do
would
have a
they?
point.
Why
I'll
would
tell you,
they associate the
because
prophet with
I'll,
shirk?
I'll give you an example, because it shows that even if Satan is able to influence the greatest man, God still reconciles, and he still prevails and wins over evil and Satan. God will always reconcile his revelation. Boom. That's a motivation right there. Because the story
But
is that Satan threw recitation into the prophet's recitation, and God immediately rectified it. That's the story. Don't quote one part and not quote the other. The point is, even the prophet himself, when he was attacked by a satanic demonic spirit and influence, God always prevails. God always rectifies his message. His message cannot be corrupted. Even the most powerful source of corruption can come, but God will always rectify it. So
All
if
right.
they're not embarrassed by such a thing, then there is motivation to fabricate the story. No problem. Anyways, I can even grant you the story is authentic. What's the issue?
Yeah. My issue would be here. You have in the prophet, right, making up revelation
He didn't
for
make it up.
convenience.
He didn't make it up. He didn't make it
Okay,
up.
fine.
Don't
Like
lie.
according to the Islamic view, he didn't make it up, but he's being possessed by a jinn.
He didn't. He wasn't
Like how?
possessed. He wasn't possessed.
Like,
Don't
okay,
lie.
fine. The devil, the shaitan, he imitated his voice, right?
No, he
That's
threw in recitation, and the prophet thought it was revelation.
all right. So how are we supposed to trust anything he says if the devil can do these things? We don't have this issue with prophets in the Bible.
Can
Only
can
with,
can 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 the devil influence Paul if he wanted to?
of course.
So how can we
Oh,
trust?
oh, wait, wait.
So how can we trust that anything Paul says?
Because there's not a single place in the Bible where Paul is said to be like influenced by the devil.
Yeah,
If you
it
can
does.
show me
Yeah,
where.
Corinthians chapter 7, Paul is influenced by demonic spirit.
Let me see. Corinthians 7 what?
One sec. Hold on. Sorry, not 7. 2 Corinthians 12:7.
No. That's the thorn in the flesh. That means like God
Can you just read it? Can you just read it?
all right, man. Or because of these surpassing great revelations, therefore, in order to keep me from being conceited, I was given a thorn in my flesh, a messenger of Satan to torment me.
Okay, so did Paul go through a satanic influence?
Yeah, yeah, like a physical pain because of
Doesn't say a physical pain.
all right, he went through a thorn in the flesh. Like no one actually knows what he went through, but yeah, he
All right.
like
So whatever he went through, it's satanic, right?
yeah.
Okay, cool. So then you don't have a problem with a so-called messenger having a so-called satanic influence. You don't have a problem with that.
No, but this is different because Paul isn't saying that, oh, when I said this before, it was actually the devil who influenced me. Like the devil can influence you in different ways. Like someone could have like a leg injury, or someone could have like mental health issues, or not even mental health
One
issues. You
sec,
could have
brother,
like,
brother, 1 sec. My wife is texting me. Hold on, man.
no problem, bro.
Okay, sorry. Continue.
All right, are you there? Yeah, I'm saying that Paul. There's no verse from Paul that can be attributed to speak from the devil. The devil is speaking.
That's completely irrelevant. So what?
No, because like even if
You're saying if somebody can go or can be affected by Satan in any way, then this person is not trustworthy.
Not in any way that God would allow a messenger like his messenger to be like the words of his messenger to be diluted by Shaitan. That doesn't happen. to any
And when he
messenger
does
in
that, he'll
the
rectify
Bible.
it, right? And when he does that, he'll rectify it, right?
It wouldn't even happen in the first place.
No. And when he does it, he'll rectify it, right?
When what?
According to the story.
According to the story, it's a later edition. It's a later edition.
It's not a later edition. It's in the earliest. It's in the earliest reports that God.
No, he does rectify it in the end.
Okay, beautiful. So then, according to this report, when Satan does do something like this, God rectifies it, right?
According to the report, yes, but it seems
okay. So then we have no problem to think that if it happens, God wouldn't rectify it. How would this deem the prophet non-trustworthy?
Because it doesn't happen to any other prophet who is encouraged.
Just because, let's say it doesn't, because it does. It happens to Samuel. Okay, and I could show you that according to Josephus. But besides the point, okay, even if it doesn't, so what? How does that make the prophet untrustworthy?
It just makes him more suspicious. Like it was so.
It's not. Just makes, how does it make him? How does it make him suspicious? You're not actually telling me how it makes him suspicious.
Because the shaitan is able to influence his speech. Like, how
Yes,
do we know
yes,
the ayat?
and God rectifies it
How do we know God always rectified it?
because we have independent reason to think the Quran is true and the Prophet is a true messenger.
Okay, what is the reasoning that the Quran is true? For example,
Because
like let's look at your
because the Prophet has massively attested miracles. The Prophet has detailed prophecies that are not ex eventu, that are confirmed to have been said before the event takes place, that are layered, because the Prophet is foreshadowed in the Torah and the Gospel. And because of these independent reasons, we have no reason to think that the Prophet is untrustworthy.
yeah, that was another issue I had with logic, man. I was embarrassed because I thought the prophet was in the Bible and the
He
Torah as
is.
well. He's not
Just
there.
just just because of your lack of knowledge doesn't mean that he's not.
Man, I asked my sheikhs and imams, like they pointed
Your
to
imam,
Shah.
brother, you think, okay, let's just be rational here because you're not a stupid guy. You're maybe a little bit stupid, but you're not too stupid. All right. So why the
So
heck? So just listen, bro. Why the heck would you think your random local imam would be studied in comparative religion and able to quote you verses from the Bible? Do you
you
think
know
that
what?
imams are trained in biblical studies? You think imams go to school and their shuyukh teach them the Bible? So you ask the wrong people. You should ask
All right.
people
That's
who
why I'm
are in
here.
the
That's why I'm
correct.
here.
All right, cool. So don't tell me you ask
Yes.
your imam. Your imam doesn't know nothing about the Bible. So why would you ask
All
him?
right. But you know what? That's my fault. I should come to Liviano instead. Show me where the prophet is in the Bible. If you can
Daniel,
show me, I'll revert to Islam right now. I
Daniel,
swear to God, I'll revert.
Dan, okay. So I just want to confirm you're a Muslim before. Where are you from?
I'm from Nigeria, but
You're from Nigeria. Are you Hausa?
no, I'm
Yoruba?
Yoruba. Yeah.
Yoruba. Okay. Can you? I just want to confirm that you were an ex-Muslim. Can you recite from me Surah Al-Fatiha?
Bismillahir Rahim. Hold on. Bismillahir Rahim. Maliki yam Madin. Iyaka
Brother.
nabudu walika nasta'in. Idina siratal mustaqim siratal lazina anamta alai garai magdubi alaim waladalain.
Okay, brother. Are you reading a transliteration?
Yeah,
Why are you reading a transliteration? Did you not pray?
I did pray, but I wasn't really practicing until
So
like
how?
my family wasn't really religious, but I started
Okay.
like getting back into Islam in the past like 4 years.
Okay. So how did you pray without Surah? Okay. What's the Shahada
What's the Shahada? It's there's no God but God, and the Prophet is his messenger.
in Arabic?
Ashadu wa Ashadu la ilaha illallah la Muhammadun Rasulullah.
Okay. Did you read from the transliteration again?
No, no, no. I know that. I'm a
Okay.
Muslim, bro.
I'm just gonna give you
I
the
was
benefit
a
of the
Muslim.
doubt. Do you have does Logic have a video of you converting?
Yeah, yeah, I swear to God, like Logic, like I didn't convert on the stream, but like
Okay.
you can see me like arguing, man. Like I'm a Muslim.
Okay, cool. Okay, no problem. I'm not gonna doubt that. Okay, maybe now I'm practicing family, whatever. All right, no problem. So
My first name is Sulaiman.
okay, Sulaiman, no problem. So Sulaiman, we're gonna take you away from being Solomon to you're gonna come back to being Sulaiman. Okay.
That's
So
just call me Sully.
in Daniel chapter 2, have you read Daniel chapter 2 before?
Hold on.
Yeah, let's pull it up.
All right. Nebuchadnezzar's dream.
Have you read this chapter before or no?
I haven't. No.
Okay, cool. So let's go and explain it. Okay. So what's the context? Daniel chapter 2 is when the Israelites are in the Babylonian exile for 70 years. So the Babylonian exile, the Babylonians were ruled by King Nebuchadnezzar. So this is in Babylon. Now, during this time, the prophet Daniel was active. So, Daniel chapter 2, King Nebuchadnezzar has a dream. See, King Nebuchadnezzar's dream. The dream, he says, is the following. One sec. So he has a dream. The king summoned the magicians, enchanters, and sorcerers and astrologers to tell him what he had dreamed. So he didn't want the interpretation, just the interpretation. He wanted people, the astrologers and the wise men, to come and tell him what his dream was before they even interpret it. So he knows they're not bluffing. All right. So then he tells them, tell me what my dream is. When they came in, he said, I have had a dream that troubles me, and I want to know what it means. The astrologers answered the king, may the king live forever. Tell your servants the dream, and we will interpret it. So they say, okay, tell us the dream, and we'll tell you what it means. The king replied, this is what I have firmly decided. If you do not tell me what my dream was and interpret it, I will cut you into pieces and your houses turn into piles of rubble. But if you tell me the dream and explain it, you will receive from me gifts and rewards and great honor. So tell me the dream and interpret it for me. So he says, no, I'm not going to tell you guys my dream. You're going to tell me my own dream and you're going to interpret it for me. If you don't, I'm going to kill you. So then they say, let the king tell his servants the dream and we will interpret it. So they say, okay, tell us the dream. We'll tell you what it means. The king answered, I am certain that you're trying to gain time because you realize that this is what I firmly decided. So you guys are bluffing. You guys are trying to buy time. You guys are full of shit. You can't actually tell me the dream. And if you can't tell me the dream, then you probably can't interpret it. So then, anyways, Daniel comes. Well, we'll just skip past this. Daniel comes to save the day. Daniel tells the king that he'll tell him this dream. So let's go to verse 24. Then Daniel went to Arioch, whom the king had appointed to execute the wise men of Babylon, and said to him, do not execute the wise men of Babylon. Take me to the king. I will interpret this dream for him. Arioch took Daniel to the king at once and said, I have found a man amongst the exiles from Judah who could tell the king what his dream means. The king asked Daniel, are you able to tell me what I saw in my dream and interpret it? Daniel replied, no wise man, enchanter, magician, or diviner can explain to the king the mystery he has asked about. But there is a God in heaven who reveals mysteries. He has shown King Nebuchadnezzar what will happen in the days to come. Your dream and visions that have passed through your mind as you are laying in bed are these. So now Daniel's telling him his dream. Your majesty looked, and there before you stood a large statue, an enormous, dazzling statue, awesome in appearance. The head of the statue was made of pure gold. The chest and the arms are made of silver. The belly and thighs of bronze. Its legs of iron and its feet of partly of iron and partly of baked clay. While you were watching, a rock was cut out, but not by human hands. It struck the statue on its feet of iron and clay and smashed them. Then the iron, the clay, the bronze, the silver, and the gold were all broken into pieces and became like chaff on a threshing floor in the summer. The wind came and swept them away. This was the dream, and now we will interpret it to the king. So I just want to make sure you're following. What was the dream?
Yeah. I've actually, I think I've read this before. So we had a dream of like a big statue, gold head, like clay feet, right? Like, like if I'm following right, that's what he had.
So there's a statue, and each body part is made of a
Yes, like
different element.
four different
Right.
sections, or is it three?
So you have the head of gold, the chest of bronze, the chest,
Yeah.
what was the silver, and then there's the bronze, and then there's the feet that's made of iron, and then the toes of iron mixed with clay. Okay. Then you
All right.
have
Yeah.
a big rock that comes and smashes the statue. Then the rock turns into a mountain and fills the whole earth. So then Daniel gives the interpretation.
All
He
right.
says that each element, each body part, represented a kingdom. He says the head of gold is the Babylonian kingdom. He says, you are that head of gold. Then after you will arise a kingdom. Then there will a kingdom after. Then there will be a fourth kingdom, scariest kingdom out of them all, will crush everything in its sight. That kingdom will be divided.
All right.
During that fourth kingdom's time, after it divides, the rock that comes and smashes the statue, that's the kingdom of God. God will raise up a kingdom that will destroy these kingdoms and bring them to an end. Now,
So does the final kingdom destroy the other three, or it just which one does it destroy?
so it destroys directly the fourth kingdom. As it says, it
The fourth kingdom,
strikes
all right.
it strikes it at its feet. So it strikes it at its feet, and after it strikes it at its feet, everything just falls apart.
All
Okay.
right.
All right. Now, what are these kingdoms? By the consensus of Christians and Jews, by the consensus of the church fathers, like Irenaeus, like Tertullian, like Saint Ephraim the Syrian, like Cyril in his catechetical lectures. Okay.
All right.
All of these church fathers, the Babylonian Talmud, Josephus, they all say that the kingdoms are Babylon, Persia, Greece, and Rome. As a matter of fact, Babylon, Persia, Greece, and Rome. As a matter of fact, Daniel identifies the first three in the book of Daniel. So here in Daniel 2, he says the head of gold is Babylon. In Daniel chapter 8, it says the second kingdom is Persia, and the third kingdom is Greece. The fourth kingdom is Rome, by the consensus of the early church and Judea. And
the fourth kingdom. I'm actually a history major. The fourth kingdom can't be Rome. The Daniel is in the context of the Seleucid Empire, right? The fourth kingdom is the Seleucid Empire.
No,
like Rome doesn't replace.
It's not. So are you saying this because you don't think Daniel can prophesy?
No, I think that's the issue I was having before I converted. When was Daniel written? But even then, like even if you look at it, right, like you can see that these kingdoms are replacing one another. Like Rome, like it's anachronistic, like what you're saying.
It's not anachronistic. That's the consent.
Repeat the first three again.
Babylon, Persia, Greece, and Rome. Yes. So who destroyed Babylon?
Cyrus.
The Persian Empire, right?
Yeah.
Good. Who destroyed the Persian Empire?
Alexander.
So Greece. So the third kingdom is Greece.
It's Macedonian, but yeah.
Right. Who destroyed the Macedonian Greek Empire?
They split in four. That's why it can't be Rome.
No, Daniel, split in four. Daniel 8 considers the four split into one kingdom. You want to see it?
The four split into one kingdom.
Yes. Daniel 8.
Let me see the verse.
Here, look. This is another vision about the second and the third kingdom. He says, look. So there's another dream. Then it says here. As I was thinking about this, you could see, right?
Yeah.
Suddenly a goat with a prominent horn between its eyes came from the west, crossing the whole earth without touching the ground. It came toward the two-horned ram I had seen standing beside the canal and charged at it in great rage. I saw it attack the ram furiously, striking the ram and shattering its two horns. The ram was powerless to stand against it. The goat knocked it to the ground and trampled on it, and none could rescue the ram from its power. The goat became very great, but at the height of its power, the large horn was broken off, and in its place, four prominent horns grew up toward the four winds of heaven. So you have the goat imagery with the long prominent horn, who comes and who destroys the two-horned ram. Okay? Now look at the interpretation here. Interpretation of the vision. So he said, I'm going to tell you what happened in the later time of the wrath, because the vision concerns the appointed time of the end. The two-horned ram that you saw represents the kings of Media and Persia. The shaggy goat is the king of Greece, and the large horn between its eyes is its first king. The four
Alexander.
horns, exactly. That's why it's a long horn, right? The four horns that replace the one that was broken off represent four kingdoms that will emerge from his nation. So then you have the ram, one kingdom, two horns represent Media and Persia into one
Correct.
kingdom. Then you have the goat that represents the third kingdom, Greece, that destroys the ram. The goat initially had a long horn, that's Alexander. When the long horn is replaced by four mini horns. The same kingdom, the same goat. Okay?
Yeah.
And these mini horns are considered four mini kingdoms of the same exact kingdom. All right. So then, according to Daniel, the third kingdom is Greece, and that includes the four mini horns. Then, if that's the case, then who destroyed the Alexandria or the Alexander the Great's kingdom and the four mini kingdoms that came out of it? Who destroyed those?
It wasn't one person, right? Because they split in different sections.
Which empire destroyed them?
Well, most of the territory,
Rome.
like Rome did, yeah.
Exactly.
Rome, yeah.
That's why the fourth kingdom is Rome. This is not a Muslim conspiracy. Early Christians by consensus and early Jews by consensus recognize this. As a matter of fact, the book of Revelations recognizes this. So the fourth kingdom is Rome. All right.
Yeah,
and
I could venture that.
Yeah. All right, beautiful. And we agree that the fifth kingdom comes after Rome and destroys Rome, right?
Yeah,
it will be the next superpower of the world that will come, destroy Rome. It will be a superpower. It will succeed and take the succession in empireship, and it will end the Roman Empire. Correct?
Yeah.
Which empire did that?
Well, you're gonna say the Ottomans, but they're gone.
What do you? I don't say the Ottomans. Which empire was the next superpower in line in succession and destroyed Rome?
Well, there are actually many contending empires, right? Like West, whether you consider like West or East. One could even say that Charlemagne is a good like contender for this. But even if you say that it's
Charlemagne didn't destroy the Eastern Empire. Charlemagne,
he was the descendants of the people who sacked the West.
Right, he was a descendant. All right. So, are you saying that the Charlemagne's empire is the kingdom of God?
No, I'm just saying that like this.
All right.
This
which kingdom destroyed the fourth kingdom?
East? Then it would be the Ottomans. The Ottomans don't exist anymore.
So then not just the Ottomans. The Ottomans just finished it off because the Ottomans are, remember, many kingdoms that come from the main body, that is the kingdom of Ishmael. Just like you have that goat who has that horn, then the many kingdoms that come out of the goat.
Wait.
They're not just considered different kingdoms; they're considered the same kingdom.
So the Turks are now children of Ishmael? The Turks are children of Ishmael now?
No. The kingdom of the children of Ishmael. That is the fifth kingdom that was emerged. Out of that came many empires. But all of those are considered within the same empire that the Prophet Muhammad established. So can you please tell me who comes after Rome divides and destroys Rome and becomes a super empire and rules the whole earth, becomes a mountain and fills the whole earth?
Who comes after?
You're a history major, bro. What is the next superpower after Rome, bro?
After Rome, it's the Ottomans.
It's the Muslims. It's not the Ottomans. The Ottomans don't even form. The Umayyads come, the Abbasids come. Okay.
Yeah,
The
but
point is,
the Umayyads don't destroy Rome. Like you admitted
they
this.
do. The Umayyads do destroy Rome. The Abbasids do
No, they
destroy Rome. As a matter of
no,
fact,
yeah, they don't
let me,
destroy completely. Is
let
what
me,
I mean.
brother, you're not understanding. According to Daniel 8, are the 4 mini kingdoms that come from Alexander the same kingdom?
No.
They're not the same kingdom. They're not the same goat.
All right, they're the same goat. Yeah.
So they are the same kingdom.
Look, I grant that. I could grant that.
Okay, beautiful. So then the Ottomans and the Abbasids and the Umayyads are many kingdoms that are part of the same one body, right?
I would say that's different because
It's
they
not
don't.
different. It's the same exact thing. You have the
No,
Prophet
because
Muhammad comes, who establishes his rule. God literally comes, establishes his kingdom, and
no,
from
but
that you have many kingdoms that form. The point
all
is,
right. The
it's
To
the
be honest, my point is that like the Diadochi, right? They split in four during Alexander's
the what?
time.
The what?
The Diadochi, like Alexander's general, split his empire in four. The
Yes.
Ottomans, the Ottomans don't break
Why does this
off
guy
from
keep talking
any.
about Ottomans? Brother, the 5th kingdom is not the Ottomans. It is the
Even if
Muslim
it's
empire. It's the kingdom of Islam. The Ottomans are just a sub-kingdom, just like the Seleucids are a sub-kingdom of Alexander's kingdom.
all right, Libiano, I can
You
grant you
understand?
all that. Where's
All
this
right, good.
kingdom now?
All right,
Where's the
good.
kingdom?
All right, good. So do you agree that the world empire that comes after Rome and takes over the world is the Islamic kingdom?
Not the whole world, but the next superpower. Yes.
It is the whole world according to Daniel. According to
Oh,
Daniel, Babylon ruled the whole world.
but Islam doesn't control the
What?
whole world.
Oh my God, he's so stupid. Okay, brother, you're not listening. Let's go to
I'm
Daniel.
listening.
You're not. Look here. This was the dream. Now we will interpret it to the king. So Daniel speaking to the king of Babylon. Your Majesty, you are the King of Kings. The God of heaven has given you dominion, power, and might and glory. In your hands he has placed all of mankind and the beasts of the field and the birds in the sky. Wherever they live, he has made you ruler over them all. Did Babylon rule over the whole world? Literally?
You know what, Libiano, for the sake of argument, you know what?
Not,
Islam rules
not,
the whole
not.
world.
Okay, beautiful. No, it's not for the sake of argument. That is what Daniel says. Daniel considers that spot in the Middle East the whole world. That's what Daniel considers the whole world. Islam doesn't just rule that spot, it rules literally almost the whole world, half of the world. Okay,
All right, all right.
more land than the Roman Empire did in 800 years. Okay, in 70 years, and the Roman Empire did in 800 years. So then, what kingdom comes after Rome during its existence, destroys Rome, becomes a mountain, and fills the whole earth?
It's Islam. It's the Islamic Empire.
So then, Daniel prophesizes Islam as the kingdom of
All
God.
right, all right. Again, Libiano, I'm saying these things for the sake of argument, but even if I was to grant that, the empire
That's
that comes
debatable.
after Rome, no, hold on, the empire that comes after Rome isn't eternal. Islam is no longer the biggest
It,
religion.
it
Plus,
is. It's eternal.
Daniel says things which
It
contradict Islam.
it is
So he talks
eternal.
about the Son of Man coming in the
The
heavens.
Son of Man
So
is the
you're going to
prophet.
ignore
The Son of Man is the Prophet Muhammad. And
the Son of
Islam,
Man is the prophet. Then that's shirk.
yes. Okay, show me how it's shirk.
Thank you. Hold on. What does
All right.
Daniel say about the Son of Man?
That he will receive dominion, glory, and all peoples of all languages will serve him.
So how is that not shirk?
How is it shirk?
That's 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 divine. Like you're
It's
you're
not,
deifying the prophet.
it's not divine. You want to know why? Because Jeremiah
Why?
7 says that all peoples served King Nebuchadnezzar.
Yeah,
Is
but
Jeremiah deifying King Nebuchadnezzar?
does he say Nebuchadnezzar is coming in the clouds?
Coming in the clouds is imagery that contrasts the pagan nations coming from the bottom of the sea. So this is a dream. The pagan nations, the pagan kingdoms, come from the bottom of the sea. But the fifth kingdom, the kingdom of the Son of Man, comes from above with the clouds. So are the pagan nations literally coming from the ocean?
No.
So why should I think that the fifth kingdom literally comes from the clouds?
No, not the clouds. It says the Son of Man is coming, like in the coming like one from the clouds.
Right, and it says that the leopard and the bear come from the bottom of the sea.
Yeah, but listen, like the verse also says that God will give the Son of Man dominion over an everlasting kingdom.
Yes, the Prophet Muhammad has dominion over an everlasting kingdom.
But he's not coming back. Isa is coming back.
Doesn't need to come back. Isa is part of the everlasting kingdom.
So why wouldn't you just say the Son of Man is Isa? Doesn't that make more sense?
Because he's not. Because he's not.
Why not? Why not?
Because Isa alayhi salam didn't usher in God's fifth kingdom. It's the Prophet Muhammad who did.
The Prophet, that's debatable. But look, even if I grant you all of this stuff,
it's not even if you grant me, bro. You have no way out. It's
okay, fine. You know what? I grant you.
You're a history major. There's no way out of this.
I mean, there are ways out of it. I just don't feel like arguing them.
There are no ways.
I've already told you, like, you're just gonna keep saying that.
Which ways?
Hold on, you're just gonna keep. Okay, let me talk. You're just gonna keep saying that you're gonna go for the most like Islamic.
Keep refuting you. Yes,
you're gonna go for the most like Islam friendly interpretation of the verse.
No, I'm going based on the best reading of the verse according to the context. Actually, the leading scholar, Mr. Collins, Dr. Collins, on Danielic literature says what I'm saying. He says coming of the cloud is imagery contrasting the coming of the sea for the pagan kingdoms.
All right. So where does Daniel say that this kingdom will recede? Because it says it's going to be they're going to recede or they're going to decline. Daniel says it's going to be an everlasting kingdom.
It is an everlasting. Islam is everlasting.
But you're not talking about Islam. You're talking about the kingdoms that the Prophet established.
The kingdom is the body of believers. That is the kingdom.
Then why wouldn't that's the argument that Christians make about Jesus fulfilling this verse? You don't even understand the argument you're making. It's either a kingdom or it's the body of believers. It is a kingdom.
It is a kingdom. The body of the believers form the kingdom. Are you stupid?
Okay, and then the body of Christianity also forms
so the body of believers in Christianity destroyed Rome and brought it to an end?
Yes. Like
when did they do that?
Well, they took over Rome. Like
they didn't take over Rome. There's no taking over of Rome. And it doesn't say took over Rome. It says they will destroy Rome. It doesn't say the fourth kingdom will turn into the fifth kingdom. It doesn't say the fourth kingdom will convert. It says the fifth kingdom will destroy and crush the fourth one.
All right.
So why should I think that it's saying anything other than that, the plain reading of the text?
Alaric was a Christian. The Visigothic leader who sacked Rome was a Christian. Anyone can use this argument.
First of all, the Visigoths were Christian.
Yeah, a lot of them were Christians. A lot of them were Arians.
The Visigoths were not Christian. They became Christian. The Visigoths were polytheists, as far as I know.
No, they became Christian in the end.
They became Christian. So what is the fifth kingdom of God? What is the fifth kingdom of God? So what is the fifth kingdom of God? Is it the Visigoths?
Well, in my opinion, the Christians believe that it's the kingdom of Jesus. It's not an earthly
all right.
kingdom.
So how does the kingdom of Jesus, whatever that is, fulfill Daniel 2?
When Jesus returns, he's going to establish.
Okay, so he doesn't fulfill it. Thank you. So you're looking for something that's not here when you already do have a historical fulfillment. The kingdom of God is set up. The Muslims become a mountain, fill the whole earth. They destroy the Roman Empire. We don't need to do any twisting, any turning. We don't need to read any spiritual fulfillment. It is fulfilled as the plain text says it will be fulfilled.
Libiano, even if you use this logic, you can also use it for Christians. The
No, you
man
can't.
who destroyed the Western Roman Empire in 476, even if I was going to use this earthly kingdom stuff, Odoacer was a Christian, Alaric was a Christian,
Okay,
and these are the guys.
he's the fifth kingdom of God, the
By
Visigoths.
your logic, yes. By your logic, the Visigoths are the fifth kingdom of God. But yes,
No,
they,
by my
and they
logic,
come before Islam.
by my logic, no, because they don't destroy the fourth kingdom. They only destroy the
They
Western.
destroy the Western Rome. Yeah, like they take
Yeah,
over Rome itself.
they only destroy a part of the fourth kingdom, not all of it.
And by your logic, the Muslims
By
don't
my logic,
destroy.
they do.
Yeah, they don't destroy. They don't
The
destroy
Ottomans end the Roman
the
entity.
Eastern. Yeah, they end the Eastern Empire. They wasn't even holding Rome.
That's exactly what was left of the fourth kingdom, the eastern part,
Man,
and
the
they end it.
Romans.
They finish it. As a matter of fact, we have Jewish
Oh my God.
inscriptions. We have Jewish inscriptions and Christian prayers from the first. So we have Christian prayers and literature from the 1st and 2nd century, when Rome didn't become Christian yet, saying that when Christ comes, he will destroy the Roman Empire. And we have 5th century Jewish inscriptions and prayers calling for God to bring his Messiah to destroy the Roman Empire, just like Daniel says. Both of them didn't account for the Muslims doing it, the Prophet Muhammad doing it.
All right. So why did the Christians destroy this final fifth superpower? The Ottomans were destroyed by Christians in the early 20th century, and
Right.
Daniel says it's going to be everlasting.
I didn't say the fifth kingdom is the Ottomans, did I?
No, but you said it's the Islamic superpower, and that there are no
Right.
more Islamic
And the
superpowers
Ottomans,
nowadays.
yeah, exactly. Islam
So
is
what
still
happened?
eternal. Islam is the
So
eternal
what
kingdom
happens?
of God.
You know what happens. At first, you say, "Oh, it's a superpower. It's the kingdom of Islam."
It was a
And then when Islam is weak, it becomes the body of the believers.
No, it's always been the body of believers.
Then say that from the beginning. If it's been the body of
that's what I always said, and that's what Daniel 7 says. It says that the fifth kingdom is the saints of the Most High. That is the fifth kingdom. And the Son of Man is the leader of the saints of the Most High. So the fifth kingdom is the body of believers. The body of believers grow to be a massive empire. They ruled the whole earth, and they destroy Rome. And they're still eternal. They still exist.
So your whole evidence for the prophet in the Bible is that the Ottomans destroyed what's left of Rome.
It's that Daniel speaks of the Islamic kingdom in the most clear terms, in the most historically accurate way. And you're in denial. There's 4 kingdoms, and the one that comes after is that kingdom of God. Historically speaking,
Even if I grant you this, right? The prophet says that his name is mentioned in the Injil. This is not the Injil.
His name is mentioned in the Injil because Jesus speaks about the Son of Man figure who will come and bring God's kingdom.
Oh my goodness, man. Jesus calls himself the Son of Man.
Yeah, I know Jesus calls himself the Son of Man according to our gospel authors who change early traditions from Jesus speaking about the Son of Man as a distinct person to identifying Jesus, or Jesus identifying himself as the Son of Man. The best example of this is the tradition that we have independently attested by Mark and independently attested by Q in Matthew and Luke. If you go and look at the tradition of Mark, it says, "Whoever is ashamed of me, the Son of Man, when he comes, he will be ashamed of him." If you go to the tradition that's found in Luke, in Q, and Luke preserves Q better, it says, "Whoever confesses me before men, the Son of Man will confess him when he comes." But guess what? Matthew changes Q, and Matthew has, "Whoever confesses me before men, I will confess him before my Father in heaven." So Matthew changes the Son of Man from being a distinct person to the Son of Man being Jesus. So we know the gospel authors believe that the Son of Man is Jesus, but the earliest evidence, according to Rudolf Bultmann, according to Adela Collins, according to Bart Ehrman, according to the majority of German scholars, Jesus originally spoke about the Son of Man as a distinct figure from himself who will come in the future, who will be the most glorified, which is what Ahmed means, and will usher in God's kingdom, which is exactly what the Prophet Muhammad does, fulfilling Daniel 2, Daniel 7, and the prophetic sayings from Jesus.
Daniel also says that the Son of Man will be worshipped.
He doesn't.
So, yeah, hold on. He says it in Daniel 7:13.
He doesn't say he will be worshipped, says he will be served.
Hold on. In my vision, I looked at 7:14. Pardon. Yeah, my vision at night. I looked.
And there was one before me like a son of man, and we already went over this. He will receive dominion, glory, authority. All peoples of all languages will serve him.
What is the what's the Hebrew word used for serve here?
It's not Hebrew, it's Aramaic. The word is pilach, which means servitude. Servitude, it's either given to God or it's given to other than God. As a matter of fact, the word pilach is used in Ezra chapter 7 to refer to an act of servitude given to the temple.
And God will also give the prophet the birds of the sky and the beasts of the field. No. Hold on. Wow. Does any hadith support this?
Any hadith support what? That the prophet has dominion over his nation?
No, that he's going to be served. Like, how is he going to be served when he's dead? Like, he's not coming back.
We serve him by obeying him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, "Ati'u Allah wa ati'u Rasul." Serve Allah and serve his prophet.
Serve his messenger. Yeah. I understand what you're trying to say, but like in this instance, it really seems like this Son of Man is going to come back and establish his rule on earth.
Doesn't say come back. Doesn't say come back.
Okay, he's going to be here physically.
Yeah,
I don't see how
he was here physically. And he was served. He established rule on earth. He conquered the Arabian Peninsula, and all of the Christians, Jews, and polytheists came under his subjection. As a matter of fact, we have Syriac letters from Christians like the Khuzestan Chronicle, like the Maronite Chronicle from the year 637, 5 years after the Prophet, 10 years after the Prophet, non-Muslim sources that attest that at this time God has given authority to the children of Ishmael, that the children of Ishmael have subjected the Romans and the Persians, and that God has given the whole world under their control.
All right. I don't think the Son of Man is. I don't think the Son of Man is the prophet, but
you could say that, but there's no better candidate. It's certainly not Jesus, who was crucified on a stick by a bunch of Romans.
Oh, come on, man. Why are you being disrespectful?
I'm not. I'm just stating what you believe. Jesus was crucified on a stick by a bunch of Romans. There's nothing of dominion, of power, of glory, of authority about that. He died, dude.
Yeah, but you also know that Christians believe he's coming back.
Yeah, you could believe that. You could believe that.
But you believe that. You believe that as well.
And I could believe that my magical tooth fairy will come back and fulfill Daniel 7.
Wait,
Jews can believe that the failed Messiah Bar Kokhba, who was beheaded after establishing a Jewish state for 2 years, will come back and finish his messianic duty.
All right. Don't you believe that Isa is coming back?
Yeah, I only believe it because the prophet said so, not because he said it.
So, like, why are you mocking the belief that he's coming back?
I'm not mocking the belief he's coming back. I'm mocking the belief that in order to run away from a clear prophecy, you want to give an unjustified hypothesis to support your dogma. And say, oh, well, this is not fulfilled yet because he will come back. Well, that's not justified because the text doesn't say that.
Well, in my view, there's no clear prophecy of the prophet. Like all of this stuff seems like just like
if this is not clear, then I don't know what is. Yeah, 4 kingdoms. The 5th one that comes after will be the kingdom of God. So clear. Historically, we have 4 kingdoms, and the one that came after is the kingdom of God. How more clear do you want it to be? 4 kingdoms, 5th one, follow it. Babylon, Persia, Greece, Rome. What was after that? Islam.
All right. Let me use your logic here, Liviano. So you say Rome is the fourth kingdom because it took over the four kingdoms, right? But the four kingdoms also controlled Persia, and Rome never controlled Persia. So are you saying that Rome is not the third kingdom because it didn't take over all of Alexander's territory? That's what you're saying.
It doesn't need to take over all of Alexander's territory.
Oh, really? Oh, fantastic. So why doesn't destroy the Western Roman Empire
Can I
count?
finish speaking? Thank you.
Finish
It
it.
doesn't need to take all of Alexander's territory. It just needs to end it.
Alexander's empire ended because his generals split it in four.
It didn't end. According to Daniel, the splitting of the four was part of the same kingdom.
Whatever. Like the splitting of Rome.
Whatever. So what Daniel says is whatever.
No.
Whatever.
No, listen. The splitting of Rome into two is also part of the same kingdom.
Whatever Daniel says is whatever, man. It's just whatever.
No. Hold on. Like the splitting of Rome into two kingdoms is the same kingdom, right?
Yes.
The same kingdom.
It's the same kingdom.
The Romans don't take over all of Alexander's kingdom, right?
Yep.
They just completely end it.
They didn't end it.
They ended the Ptolemaic dynasty. They were not the ones who ended the Seleucid dynasty. They were not the ones. They didn't end the Seleucids. So, like in Persia, the Persians are the ones who fought the Romans. Like the Parthians fought the Romans for a long time. So, by your logic, if they have to actually take over the whole thing, I'm just using this.
I didn't say they had to take over the whole thing. I said they had to.
No, because you're using the same logic.
They have to succeed it as a world empire and end it, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, the Christians ended the Roman Empire in 476.
No, the Roman Empire didn't end. The Roman Empire continued until 1453.
They didn't. The Byzantines didn't hold Rome since the days of Justinian.
Sorry?
They didn't hold Rome. They were Roman. Hold? Yeah, they didn't hold the city of Rome. The Christians
doesn't matter. What does that have to do with the Roman entity itself? Capitals can change, right?
Yeah, I know, but what?
Right. Okay. So what does that have to do with
what is considered Rome is a matter of historical debate. This isn't a very clear verse.
Oh, it's not
Where
clear.
Is any evidence?
Now all of a sudden, you don't know, or you see, just because Islam fulfills this so nicely, now you don't know what Rome is anymore.
No, I'm saying that Islam doesn't fulfill it so nicely.
Now we don't know what Rome is. Just so Islam doesn't fulfill this,
I'm saying that it's debatable. It's not
debatable. It's not debatable at all. The overwhelming consensus is that Rome ended in 1453 when Sultan Muhammad the Conqueror came and conquered Constantinople, and he turned Constantinople into the pearl of the Ottoman Empire.
There is no historical consensus on when Rome ended.
There is a historical consensus on when Rome ended.
All right, Google it right now and see what. Google it. Just Google it.
I already did. It's 1453.
Well, I'm seeing a different answer. It says 476.
That's the Western Empire.
That's what I'm saying. That there are different answers for different historians.
Hey, retard. According to Daniel, West and East are one kingdom. Don't act retarded now. So we already dealt with that. According to Daniel, West and East are the same kingdom.
All right, Libiano. Don't you find it weird that your prophet says that Ibrahim built the Kaaba?
I don't find it weird.
Like, why is it so? If you look at the Bible or the Torah, Abraham, he goes like Ishmael and Hagar go to Egypt. So what the Muslims believe is that even though Abraham never saw Ishmael go to he never saw Ishmael again after that. Muslims believe that he took a trip to Mecca for some reason, built this big cube there, and then when he left, the people there just started like bowing down to it and committing shirk. You see the stupid stuff I had to believe.
That's just not what we believe in. Clearly, you didn't Clearly, you didn't believe in it, because now I'm starting to doubt that you're even a Muslim. That's not what we believe.
I'm not, like, you're doubting
No. So
because you have no facts on your side.
Ismail and Ibrahim built the Kaaba as a temple and a house of God.
Yeah,
And the descendants of Ismail, who stayed in the region, revered it as the temple and the house of God. But those descendants deviated, and they introduced new practices into the religion of their forefathers. Just like the Israelites had the Temple of Solomon. And then the Temple of Solomon ended up having idols in it by the Israelites. Is that correct? Did the Israelites, after deviating, have idols in the temple?
Do the Israelites still go to the Temple of Solomon?
I didn't ask that. I said in the book of Kings and in Hosea and in the Hebrew Bible, the temple was defiled by idols, right?
And what happened to it? What happened to the temple?
Yeah, it would be cleansed after, when God would restore Israel. So can you answer the question? Did the temple that Solomon built, was it later defiled by idols?
Yeah, it was.
Why?
Because Solomon, he married a lot of pagan women. Like people
No,
started
you idiot. No, because the Israelites deviated and they started worshiping other gods, and they started worshiping idols. That's what happened. They started saying that Yahweh has a wife called Asherah. They started worshiping Baal and foreign gods. They put idols into the temple, and God would rebuke them. So the same thing happened.
All right, but
God told Abraham to build a temple, which is the Kaaba. The temple was first clean and purified, and after that, it was defiled by idolatry. Except the Arabs didn't have prophet after prophet after prophet to correct them. They only had one prophet.
Yeah, I know. Let me ask you this. So the difference is the Temple of Solomon was a house of God at one point. There is no pre-Islamic source that the Kaaba was ever not a place of idolatry, right? So
why should we expect any pre-Islamic source that the Kaaba was not a place of idolatry? We don't even have any evidence that Abraham existed.
No, but we should expect.
No, we shouldn't.
We should expect. No, I'm not talking about secular evidence. I'm talking about the Jews should mention.
No. Why would the Jews mention something that's outside of their tradition?
Why would Abraham? Because it doesn't make sense in the tradition, right? Abraham going with Ishmael.
Why doesn't it make sense?
Because Ishmael and Abraham don't meet after Ishmael goes to Egypt with his mother.
Says who?
They don't meet it again.
The book of Genesis, right?
Yeah, Abraham. Pardon me.
Ishmael
settles down with an Egyptian woman.
And we're saying that's wrong. We're saying that they do meet. What's the problem? What's the issue? It's your.
My issue is
Genesis simply lacks that information.
All right, but let's it's a big stretch that Abraham goes with his bastard son all the way to Mecca.
So I don't know why you're saying he's a bastard son. He's not a bastard son.
He is a bastard son.
Show me in the Bible where it says he's a bastard son.
Hagar was a concubine.
Okay, and a concubine is a concubine is a kind of wife in the Hebrew Bible. As a matter of fact, she's called a wife. So show me where it says Ishmael is a bastard son, because now
he is.
You claim to be following Abraham, but you're calling his son a bastard. So
I'm not insulting Abraham. I'm not even insulting.
Can you show me where it says he's a bastard son?
He's illegitimate. That's why he's expelled.
All right. Can you show me where it says he's illegitimate?
Hold on. I don't think it says it directly. I'm the one who added that. My point is, why would Ishmael and Abraham go all the way to Mecca, a random city in the desert? It doesn't make any sense.
Because that's where Ishmael was commanded to dwell. He went to Arabia.
But
he went to Arabia, and
that contradicts Genesis.
It doesn't
That
contradict
contradicts
Genesis.
Genesis.
It doesn't contradict
He
Genesis.
goes to Egypt pardon me. He goes to Egypt in Genesis
And
and
he
marries
also
an
goes
Egyptian woman.
and he also goes to Arabia. How does that contradict Genesis?
But it can't. His family is in Egypt, right?
No, his family isn't in Egypt. His family is in Arabia. It says it in Genesis 21:21. Ishmael went and dwelt in Paran.
Paran is in the Sinai Desert.
Prove it.
Hold on, where is Paran?
Because according to our historical references from Eusebius in his Onomasticon, and from Sebios from the 7th century, and from what's it called, manuscripts of the Torah and pre-Islamic literature, Paran has always been identified as Arabia. As a matter of fact, the Book of Jubilee considers Paran to be the whole region, the Sinai and beyond Sinai, which is Arabia. So Paran is a massive portion of land. Doesn't refer to one specific spot. Paran is a massive land. It includes the Sinai Peninsula. Okay,
Yeah,
that's why Paul. Let me finish. That's why Paul in Galatians chapter 4 calls Sinai Arabia, because Arabia included all of that region, the Sinai and the other side of Sinai, where the desert is.
All right. The reason I think it's Sinai, because God, the Genesis also says that Ishmael marries a woman from Egypt, right? Like Hagar picks a woman from Egypt. So
right. And
most
they dwell
likely,
in Paran.
Yeah, they dwell in Paran. So when he goes to Paran, he picks a woman from Egypt.
So why doesn't it say
Egypt?
He went to Egypt and dwelt in Egypt?
Because it assumes, because like if it says Paran, it assumes it's someone saying, "Oh, I went to Gaza and I got a wife from Palestine." Like that's what it's trying to say.
Okay, cool. So then he didn't dwell in exactly Egypt, and the text doesn't want you to think that he dwelt in exactly the same place as where he got his wife, right?
Yeah, it might be farther down in Egypt.
Beautiful. Okay, beautiful. So it says Paran. Paran includes Arabia, so then I'm justified in believing so.
What you expect me to believe is that Ishmael went to Mecca.
Yes.
Then he went all the way. He went all the way to Egypt to get a wife, and then went back.
Yes, he went all the way to Egypt. He went all the way to Mecca. They built the Kaaba there, him and his father, and his descendants stayed there, and they mixed with the Nabateans, and they mixed with the Yemenite Arabs, and they mixed with the sons of Keturah and the local populations, and that's where you get the Arabs.
All right. Why isn't this mentioned in Genesis? Because it gives genealogical.
Why is what not mentioned in Genesis?
Ishmael's trip to Mecca. It talks about him getting a wife from Egypt.
It doesn't need to do it in detail. It's just
no, but it talks about him going to Egypt, right, and getting a wife.
Are you going to give an argument? You just tell me why it doesn't say it. It just doesn't say it. It's not
my argument.
It's just not important to the tradition of the Israelites. What do they care about what the Arabs did?
My argument is, why is your prophet incorporating pagan Islamic traditions like the circling of the Kaaba into his monotheistic religion? Why is he
it's not pagan? In Exodus chapter 7, the Israelites circle around and do Hajj.
Circle around what?
No, they just circle around in pilgrimage.
No, they're lost in the desert.
No, they circle around. They do Hajj. You want to see it? I could show you.
Yeah, show me.
All right. Hey man, you've been getting slow fried this whole time, man.
We'll see. Like, I'm gonna play this back to myself, but it's just kind of sad that, like, I'm not a theologian and I'm handling myself so well.
Yeah, you're not a theologian, but you. Okay, let's pull it up.
Yo, Jermaine.
Where was the passage again? Okay, do you see my screen?
No.
All right. So it says here in Exodus 23, 3 times a year you are to celebrate a festival to me, right?
Yep.
If you go to the Hebrew, the word there for festival is 3 times a year. You do hajj to me. Tahujj, right here. If you go to the Strong, it says to make pilgrimage, keep a pilgrim feast. You know what else this word means? This word means literally to move in a circle. So they did pilgrimage by moving in a circle. And that's exactly what the Arabs did establish from their forefather, Ismail. They did hajj, a pilgrimage, by moving in a circle.
I don't know enough about Hebrew to comment on that, man.
It says it right there, brother.
It could,
says it right there.
it could have a separate meaning, but what are they circling? What are they circling is the question. They're not circling a cube or an idol. They could be like, I don't know of any Jewish practice of just going in circles, right? So if this is what you're talking about,
so you said this is a pagan practice. I'm saying no,
yeah,
it's
it is
not,
a pagan
because
practice.
the word. How is it a pagan practice?
The polytheists were the ones who used to do it. They used to do it 7 times
I know
around.
the polytheists were the ones who
And
did
it had a
because
significance for them for the 7 planets.
the polytheists get it from the monotheistic tradition of Abraham and Ishmael.
Yeah, but Abraham and Ishmael never, like the Jews never did anything like this, like circling the temple or the
I
Ark of
just
the
showed
Covenant.
you 3 times a year you should circle for me. Do a pilgrimage for me.
Yeah, it means pilgrimage, but this is this is like a different meaning. So it can't
Oh, it's
mean
not a different meaning. That's literally what it means. It means to properly move in a circle, bro. That's what the word hedge. That's what the word hedge means.
In a circle of what? Circling what?
Of anything. That's what the word means, to move in a circle,
So
to do hedge.
if I go around in a circle of my car, am I doing Hajj? Is Allah pleased with me?
Linguistically, you're doing hedge, not theologically.
Linguistically, yeah. All right. So let's talk about the theological implication. What are they circling?
They're circling the first temple built for God.
Where does it say that?
That's what we believe. You're saying, what are they circling? The Kaaba, right? The first temple built for God.
No, I'm talking about pardon me, I'm talking about the Israelites, not the Muslims.
The Israelites?
Yeah, in Exodus. What are they circling? That's what I'm asking, not the...
Why does it matter what they're circling? Does that change something?
Yes, it does, because...
What is it? So it's only pagan if you circle the Kaaba? It's not pagan if you circle something else?
Yeah, it's like the same thing. It's like bowing down.
Hey, brother, hey, brother, listen.
Let me just finish my point. Then I can...
You're making yourself look so funny right now, bro.
Yeah, let me just finish this point, right? If I bow down alone, like you can bow down to Allah, right? But if you bow down in front of a tree, that's paganism. So you can circle the Kaaba, and that's Islam. But if you circle your car or some idol, that's paganism. So what they're circling actually matters.
Okay. So you do understand that the Jews circled the temple, right?
That's what I'm asking for. Like, I just want evidence of that. That's all I'm asking.
So the Jews on their festivals circled the temple in their festival of Sukkot.
Yeah, could you pull that up? That's all I'm asking.
Yes. Okay, let me pull it up. 1 sec. It's in Mishnah Sukkah number 5. It's in the Talmud. If you go to Mishnah Sukkah 5, here, this is what it says. It says, how's the mitzvah of a willow branch? There was a place below Jerusalem, and it was called the Motzah. They would descend there and gather willow branches from there, and they would come and stand upright at the sides of the altar, and the tops of the branches would be inclined over the top of the altar. They then sounded at tekiah, a simple uninterrupted blast, a broken sound, and a series of short staccato blasts, and sounded another tekiah. Each day they would circle the altar 1 time and say, Lord, please save us. Lord, please grant us success.
All right. All right. Yeah. I'll give this to you. Like, wait, when was this written? Like, is this
It's in the
this is
Mishnah.
the Talmud?
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
it's
not really familiar with.
compiled in the year 200.
Yeah, yeah. I'll give this to you, man. Uh, yeah. My last question before I leave, because it's been a long one. About the prophet. Why couldn't he perform any miracles in the Quran, but he could only perform them in the Hadith?
He did perform miracles in the Quran. He split the moon for God's sake.
That's an ambiguous verse.
It's not ambiguous.
It is ambiguous.
It's not ambiguous. It says اقتربت الساعة وانشق القمر. It literally says the hour is near and the moon has been split. And read the very next verse. Here. Read the very next verse. It's in chapter 54. Look what it says.
Wait, Quran 54, what?
The hour has come drawn near and the moon was split. Yet whenever they see a sign, they turn away saying same old magic. So the Prophet Muhammad showed them a sign, and whenever they see the sign, they say this is magic, right?
Yeah.
All right, there you go, man.
But why is it that in other ayah it's saying that if he sends the sign that they would disbelieve like the previous prophets, that they disbelieve them like the previous prophets?
Just like when the Pharisees asked Jesus for a sign, and he said, this evil and adulterous generation asked for a sign. Truly I tell you, no sign will be given to it. Does that mean Jesus could do no signs? Or when Jesus, when is in his hometown, the Gospel of Mark says, for he could not perform any signs there. Does that mean that he couldn't do any signs at all?
Now the people lack faith in his hometown.
Thank you, brother. So there's instances where there's no point in showing people signs because they would disbelieve anyway.
Yeah, in some.
And if you notice the difference between the Hadith and the Quran is that the Hadith shows that the Prophet does miracles in front of believers to reconfirm their faith, not as a test of disbelievers testing and mocking the Prophet and then him showing them miracles. But the Quran shows that disbelievers mocking the Prophet demanding miracles.
Yeah, but when the disbelievers ask for a miracle, the Prophet doesn't say, "Oh, I'm not going to give you a miracle." He says, "Oh, the Quran is the miracle." So it's not like he's opposed to showing miracles.
The Quran is a miracle.
This is the miracle.
The Quran is a miracle, and in other instances, he does give them miracles, like what I just read for you.
I don't know.
And sometimes he says, "I'm just a messenger. I'm just a messenger. I'm just doing what God is telling me to do. I can't do signs on my own. It's God who gives the signs."
Yeah, obviously it's God that gives the signs.
So there's different instances. There's times where he doesn't give the miracle. There's times where he does. There's times where he says the Quran is the miracle. There's different instances. Just like Jesus.
Yeah, but Jesus is different. When he goes to this town, the people don't believe in him. It's like it's a faith issue. It's not because
and this is the what the Quran says. It's a faith issue. They wouldn't believe. Even if Allah showed the miracles, they wouldn't believe. That's what the Quran literally verbatim says, that they wouldn't believe.
Yeah, but like what I'm trying to say is that the Prophet uses, it's not like he's opposed to it. He uses the Quran as a miracle.
He does use the Quran as a miracle. He also uses the splitting of the moon as a miracle.
I don't know. It just seems a bit ambiguous. Like the splitting of the moon.
No, it's not ambiguous. It's very clear. It says the moon was split.
Don't you think it could?
It's magic.
Don't you think it could mean like a sign, like a star, like how do you say, like a sign in the heavens?
And
why should shiny star.
And why should I think that? Is there any preference to that hypothesis?
Because of like the other ayah of the Prophet, of the other verses of them saying to the Prophet.
That's question begging. That assumes your position is true.
It's not question begging.
It is question begging. You're saying, oh, the Prophet can't do miracles, therefore this can't be a miracle.
No, but you're listen to what you're saying. You're saying that the Prophet can do miracles, right? He decides to show them this miracle this one time,
and they still disbelieve.
Yeah, but they've been begging him for years to show them a miracle, and he actually shows them a miracle, and they still disbelieve.
That's the point.
All
They
right.
still disbelieve.
Rather than showing them miracles, why
Showing
not?
them miracles doesn't change whether they believe or not. They still
All
disbelieve.
right, he doesn't show them miracles. He shows them the Quran instead. How is that supposed to be a stronger point?
So why do they accuse him of saying magic when he recites the Quran? If it's not a strong point.
I don't think they accuse him of saying magic.
It says it in the Quran. It says when
I don't
he
believe
recites the Quran, they say that he's a magician, that he's a soothsayer.
They also say that they've heard these things before.
Okay. So how does that refute what I just said? So why do they accuse him of magic if he's just reciting the Quran? What's so
I don't know. Like
miraculous?
these are
You
seven.
don't know?
These are seven.
You don't know?
No, these are 7th century people who are
Right.
not
So
very
why the
educated.
7th century people who are you're educated? The 7th century people are not educated. You're educated.
No, I'm not. I'm not insulting them. I'm saying
7th century people are retarded. They're stupid, right? They were
who?
brain dead.
Whoa.
Yeah.
No, no one's saying that.
So why is it that they're accusing him of magic? Why? What's so miraculous about the Quran that they have to accuse him of being a magician?
I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe
get to know. Get to know, bro. Get to know.
Maybe it's the satanic verses. Maybe they heard like Al-At and Uzel and Menat, and they started having nightmares or something. Like who knows, man, with this stuff.
Yeah, who knows?
Right?
Anyways, are you done now?
Well, look, yeah, I'm almost done, man. Just one more thing.
No, you're not getting one more thing.